starting Shoftim Perek Aleph, Vayach Harei Moisi Yeshua Vayishalu Bnei Yisrael B'Hashem Le'emoyer Mi Yale Lonu El HaKnani Batchila L'Hilochem Boi Vayomer Hashem Yehuda Yale Inei Nosati Se'oretz B'Yodoi Vayomer Yehuda L'Shimen Ochiv Alei Iti Begoyroli V'Nilachamo B'Knaini V'Olachti Gam Ani Itcho Begoyrolecho Vayelech Ito Shimoi Vayal Yehuda Vayiten Hashem Es HaKnani V'Aprizi B'Yodom Vayakum B'Vezek Aseres Alofim Ish. So we're not going to go into the Milchome with Melech Bezek. We'll leave that for next time. Apparently, we're talking about the Tkufa right after Yeshua bin Nun's Ptira. Yeshua bin Nun's Ptira in Shnas Beis Alofim Tov Kuf Tes Zayin. He was Nifter. And Klal Yisrael right now is facing a lot of trouble. Chazal state, and we see in the Pesukim, that most of the Shvatim did not finish conquering their Chelik. Some Shvatim, 5 of them, had the vast majority of the Nachalo conquered by the time of Yeshua's Ptira, but the other 4.5 Shvatim, as you remember, 9.5 Shvatim dwelled in Eretz Yisrael and Eretz Canaan, and 2.5 Shvatim remained thereafter. Reuven, Gad, V'chotzi Sheva V'Nashe in Ever Hayadon HaMizrachi, and they came with Bnei Yisrael at the beginning, the first 14 years, and they went back to Ever Hayadon. Now we're holding at the beginning of the 15th year of Mishkan Shiloi, and we're holding right now, right after Yeshua bin Nun was Nifter, and Chavov, Nisan, Beis Alofim, Tov Kuf Tes Zayin. And Bnei Yisrael are puzzled because there are pockets of resistance. There are certain places, as I said, in different Shvatim. Some of them, the vast majority, was conquered prior to Yeshua's Ptira. And by 4.5 Shvatim, the most of the Nachalo, as we're going to see weiter in Sefer Shoftim, was not conquered yet, even in the time of the Nachalo of the Yeshua. The Gemara says that the reason why there were Nisatzlo, the Gemara in Shabbos says Nisatzlo be'espeido shel Yeshua, is because they were too busy with themselves. They're too busy with themselves, which means Ish tachas kafner tachas teinosoi. They were busy with their own nachlo, and they really did not care so much about communal affairs, such as making sure that each shevet goes all the way to the gvulos of the shevet, to be mekayim the mitzvah of kibush ha'oretz fully from the knaini which was there at the time. So Bnei Yisrael, there's a sefer, a phenomenal sefer from Moshe Amsterdamer, who was a Kadmoi. And he has a sefer, a beautiful sefer called Mincha Ktano. If you have this beautiful set of Nach, you can see it on the bottom. But he says, and I'd like to read from him before his Akdama, before I start Pshat and Pesukim. He's trying to make a comparison to the beginning of Sefer Yoshua to the beginning of Sefer Shoftim. Omar Sham Loshem Vayehi. לפי שמיסס הצדיק אוי סרוישם באיס מיסוסוי, או מויוסר ניקה רעודרוי אחר מויסוי, וברוי ויום אמיר בהצעה להדויר, ואכן למעלו באיס מיסוסוי ויהי. When Moshe Rabbeinu dies, says, ויהי אחרי מויס מוישה. And here, Sefer Shoftim starts, ויהי אחרי מויס ישוע. He says, שווי הויו במויס מוישה בעודר הצדיק העובד לדוירוי, וגם אחר מויסוי ניקה ביוסר הווי. Shekol zman sheyeshua hoyo chai. Listen to what he's saying. Hoyo olchi v'koivshim ma'artzei so'amim ve'amal leumim yirosh. It's a pasuk in Tehillim in Kapitel Kufei. Al pi dibura shel Yeshua lo yamid ish lefanecho v'nasa nakol be'Hashem beyodom kivan shemeis Yeshua. And this is the topic I would like to talk about today. Hoyo tzrichin lishal be'urim v'tumim be'ezeh seder ve'oifen sheyelchu leilochem. וסיפרו הנבואה שכשם שבמויס מוישה הויו וי באוילום כפני מוישה כפני חמה וישוע כפני לבונה דגמורים בו בבאס רד אפיין ה' כן הויו אוילוך ומסמאי במויס ישוע שממש אויסה הווי הויו גם במויס ישוע וכשם שהויו ההפרש בין נבואת מוישה לישוע, כך הויו ההפרש בין ישוע לאוסניאל בין כנז אחר ישוע. כי ישוע דבר השם אלוב, מה שאין כבאוסניאל לא יצריכים לשאול באורים ותומים. So Klal Yisrael here has to ask the Urim VeTumim what to do. The way he explains, and we're going to see soon in the Rishonim, B'shas Yeshua bin Nun was there, Yeshua was a Navi, there was no need to use the Urim VeTumim. Yeshua is Nifter, Moshe Rabbeinu Pnei Moshe Kipnei Chama. Moshe dies, the Yeridas Adeiras, we're going to Yeshua. During Yeshua's time, he says you don't need Urim VeTumim. Because Yeshua Dvar Hashem Elov, Nosan Hashem. Why? Because Yeshua was Al Pi Hashem. Everything he did, Nosan Hashem Akol B'Yodoi. Ukeven Shemei, so you tzrichim lishol b'urim v'tumim. Take a look. You have the notes. Take a look in the Ralbag. Okay. What does it mean, Miyale Lonu El Aknaini? Who is asking the question? What is the word Miyale Lonu? Okay. Zog der Ralbag, Siper she'acharei Mois Yeshua shoalu bnei Yisrael ba'Hashem lema ba'urim v'tumim. Ki mi ma'ashvotim ya'ale b'tchila lilochem ba'aknaini hanisho be'arzis hashvotim. V'roi sheneida, zog der Ralbag, she'ein harotzim bazeh shelo nisholim b'urim v'tumim b'mei Yeshua. Not like the Pirush Mincha Ketana. Avade, there was a Shaila b'urim v'tumim throughout the entire Chovches Shana. The Yeshua was manig, was moilech. Ki atoiro heido, ki b'mei Yeshua gam yishalu b'mishpat ha'urim. Omar, it's a pasuk by the minu of Yeshua bin Nun. It says in the pasuk, v'lifnei Elazar HaKohen yam v'shal b'mishpat ha'urim. The Torah is made that Yeshua bin Nun is going to be oimed v'shal b'mishpat ha'urim. So apparently Yeshua also used this tool called Urim VeTumim. V'ulam harotzim bazeh, ki acharei Mois Yeshua utzrichu lishol miyale b'tchila. כי במלחמה הראשונה שורש גודל לשאר המלחמות, וזה שאם ינוצחו ישראל במלחמה הראשונה יום הראשון מהגויים שר צילו מהלב ויסחזקו להילחם להם, ואם ינצחו ישראל יפל זה העניין מוירך לב בגויים ההם וינצחו ישראל בקלוס, ולזה בוחר השם שילוחם תחילה משורוי יויסר לנצח והוא שבט יהודו וסיבב יהודה שאולו יסו שמעון להילחם באשר נשאר בגבולו מהגויים ההם. What he's saying is as following. Avada Yeshua bin Nun used Urim VeTumim. But over here, he's not telling you that's the first time they're using Urim VeTumim, but that the Shaila was, we have several Shvotim, they all have some Knainim, we want to make a bang, a big ration of a Milchama Rishayno after the death of the Mani. Yeshua bin Nun is not around anymore, and they know, if they're going to be Menatzeach, whoever is going to be, who is Roy to be the first one to lead the war, he's going to be Menatzeach, he's going to be Moirech B'Lev Ha'amim. The Umas Oilam are going to be scared and they're going to walk away. They're going to be machlish them morally, psychologically. They're going to be tzibrochen from the fact that they lose the war. But if they're going to take somebody who's not going to be Matzliach and Chas V'Shalom, they're going to lose the first war, that's going to make harder for everybody else, for all the other Shvotim to conquer the Chelik once they come. I say, steht in Ralbag. The Malbim here, the Malbim says, Samoyer de Kavod, Ve'ishalu b'chaya Yeshua lo hutzrichu lish'oel be'urim v'tumim. Ki Yeshua sidra akol al pi divrei Hashem kemo she'omru Chazal, v'lifksiv lifnei Elazar HaKohen yamod v'leimotzo l'shenitzrach leYeshua. Aval b'moise hutzrichu lish'oel be'urim v'tumim. Says the Malbim, the Gemara says in Erevin, that Elazar HaKohen was ne'nash because by the parasha from Geulei for Klei Midyon, he was Meira Alocha b'fnei Rabbi, his uncle, Achi Abba. Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen said the psak in front of Moshe Rabbeinu, Kol HaMeira Alocha b'fnei Rabbi, there's several oinshi, but one of the oinshi, the Gemara says, because it says Yeshua v'lifnei Elazar HaKohen Yamad v'shal b'mishpat ha'urim, the Torah said that Yeshua is going to ask. Because the Elazar is the Kohen Gadol. Kohen Gadol is the one who wears the Urim VeTumim, and the Elazar is going to be the one who's going to go to be together in the time. And Yeshua bin Nun is going to be the Manig. You should know. He tells him, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe that Yeshua is going to ask for Shal b'mishpat ha'urim. V'loi motzinu, it's a oynesh for who? For Elazar, that even though he got the covet, Kiv Yochel as a Kohen Gadol who wears the Urim VeTumim to answer the Shailas to the Manig Ador to Yeshua bin Nun, yet, we don't find that Yeshua ever used the Urim VehaTumim. So basically, all the Rishonim and the Malbim is one of the Parashonei HaMikra, say that we never ever encountered, we learned through Tzvei Yod Gilad Sefer Yeshua, we never ever saw Yeshua use the Urim VehaTumim. Starts Sefer Shoftim right away, Vayishalu Bnei Yisrael Ma'Hashem. They're asking Ba'Hashem, they're asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they're going to ask the Urim VehaTumim. What happened at the last 28 years, Lo Yuzkor Urim VehaTumim. So, the Ralbag says that Kol Zman Yeshua was around, he had a direct line to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he didn't need the Urim VehaTumim. He had a direct, uninterrupted line to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So anytime he had a shayim, Yeshua speaks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu directly. Yeshua dies, this conversation of having a direct contact with the HaKadosh Baruch Hu is stopped. Therefore, the only way to get through upstairs is going through the Kohen Gadol to Urim VehaTumim. The Malbim said it's not emes. Be'emes there were Urim VehaTumim, but I'm sorry? I'm saying that's the... It's not a machlokes, but lemaise, the Torah says there will be v'lifnei Elazar kohen yam b'shal b'ush p'deurim, and it was apparently an einish to Elazar that Yeshua never ever used it because Yeshua didn't have to use it, but here they have to use it. You know, these are Malbim which I many years ago asked Reb Chaim Kanievsky about. I never ever figured it out. This is something which I'm puzzled and I had never seen. I want to show you the Malbim. Look. In Sefer Bamidbar, it says, "Vayomer Hashem el Moshe Lem, Kach L'Chos Yeshua b'nin Ish Asher Ruach Boi, v'Samachta es Yodcho Olo, v'Amadeto L'fnei Elazar HaKohen L'fnei Kol Ha'ida, v'Tzivisa Oso Leineim, v'Nosata mehoitcho Olo, v'Man Ish Muchal Das Me'Yisrael, v'Lifnei Elazar HaKohen Ya'amoid, v'Shal b'Mishpat Olo L'fnei Hashem, al pi v'Yeitzu, al pi Yavoru, hu v'Kol Bnei Yisrael Ite." Zog the Malbim, listen to this. Achar shetzivo leMoshe lismoiches Yeshua rak b'yad achas. Since Moshe Rabbeinu is nitztave, it doesn't say v'samachta yodecho, make a smicha with both hands, but v'samachta yodcho olov, only one hand. Okay. Lachen omar she mitztarech lisho el dover meis Hashem yomad yamoy lifnei Elazar v'hu yishal b'mishpat urim. ואם כן, כדבורים, בדבורים שהצטרכו לדעת מעשר ליקים, יהיה אלעזר האיקו. ועל פיו יצאו, not the pshat על פיו יצאו goes on Yeshua. על פי אלעזר, כי ישוע יהיה לו רק האודור החיצוני. Are you listening to this? I skipped one very vital line. In the beginning, ולעשות לו רק מקצת סוידו, אם כן לא יכול לו הנבואה על ישוע. לכן אומר שיצטרך לישול דובר מפני יעמוד לפני אלוהים ושום בימים הברורים, בדבורם שיצטרך להם מעשר ליקים, יהיה אלעזר האיקו ועל פיו יצאו, רוצה להם על פי אלעזר, כי ישוע לא יהיה רק ההודר החיצוני, ללחם מלחמויסם להנהיגו. מה יודע כבוד? He says, למעשה the manig is he serves as two dual purposes, Yeshua. One of them, he should be a manig, to be leichem the milchamis, and the other he should be a novi. But since Moshe Rabbeinu was only semech b'yad hachas, he mainly only got the external hodor, the hodor hachitzeni. But the hodor hapnimi, which is nevuah, loichal nevuah al Yeshua binun. Yeshua nishgeveki novi. This is something I'm puzzled, and I asked Reb Chaim Kanievsky, the Gemara Shteitoch in Megillah, Daf Yudaldo with base, take a look. The Gemara says, Arboim v'shmoyin v'neviim v'nevios. Arboim v'shmoyin v'neviim v'shem v'nevios nisdaber no Yisrael, zocht Rashi, v'chol hanach arboim v'shmoyin v'utzruchu, ba'alochos gdolos minui miseder oilom, Avrom, Yitzchak, Yankov, Moshe, Aaron, Yeshua, Pinchas. V'ayar malach Hashem min hagilgal laboichim, v'zeu Pinchas. Okay? Und der Unkelus steht tegen Ish asher ruach boi, gvar de ruach nevuah bei. Steht doch klar, Yeshua was a Navi. Come along and say, I'm saying, Sidah Zazach, you have to put it in on file. Sidah Malbim, the Malbim says that Yeshua Benu was not a Navi. Pashtus and Braisa, the Seder Olam that he brings down, the Braisa Seder Rashi brings down in Megillah, the Braisa Seder Olam, Yeshua was a Navi. There was a Navi. The Malbim Aleim by us. By us, he says he didn't need it. Oh, but the Malbim Alatera, this is unsere Malbim. But the Malbim says Alatera that Yeshua binun and Nish given Kinovi. And the reason for that being is because he got a partial smicha, and the smicha was only for the external ceremonial hodor, and that's Lilcha Milchamiseyim. And therefore, if Vilif, Al Pi Hashem Yitzeyu, Al piv yitzeyu, what does it mean, al piv yitzeyu? Lifnei Hashem, al piv yitzeyu, val piv yavohu, it doesn't mean al piv from Yeshua, but al piv means al piv from the Lozar HaKoyen, he's the one who's going to fight the wars. This is something which is a Veltz Chidish, is a Tomor de Gemalbim, we don't find anywhere. On the contrary, the Rashbam Baba Basra says, Moshe Hoyo, Rashbam Baba Basra says, Befeirish, Moshe Hoyo Melech V'Novi, Yeshua Hoyo Melech V'Novi. They were Shavim. They were both Melachim. We know Moshe Rabbeinu was a Melech, Vayibishur and Melech, and he was a Novi, like Kombi Yisrael Kenovi, Kemoshe. Yeshua Hoyo Melech V'Novi, the parasha from Meir the Malchus we learned from Yeshua Binun, and Yeshua was also a Novi. Comes again the Malbim and says, Azach Chidish, maybe when we'll get to Perek Yud, we'll have a shtickle pshat in this Malbim, but so far it's Tomua and L'chul Mefurish all across the spectrum. The Yeshua had a Din Novi, and he was one of the Nevi'im, which is counted as the 48 Nevi'im. When they say in Bryce, it's not a Rashi. Rashi calls it Bryce to say the Olam that he was a Novi. Now, why do we need a Urim VehaTumim to be Yotzei L'Milchama? We don't need a Urim VehaTumim to be Yotzei L'Milchama. Look at the sugya in Sanhedrin after Zayin Amud Aleph. Steht in Gemara Hazeh. Ein moitzim limilchemes orishus elo al pi beizin sheshivim ve'echad. You cannot be moitzi to milchemes rishus. You need a Sanhedrin of Zayin Aleph. The Gemara is done. How do you know? Omar Avod Omar Kro. It says, "V'lifnei Elozar HaKohen Yam v'Shor b'Mishar Gbur al pi Hashem yitzeh al pi yitzeh v'al pi yavo hu v'chol bnei Yisrael itoi." And you darshan, who is the Melech? Who is the Melech? Yeshua is the Melech. V'chol bnei Yisrael itoi, ze mishuach milchama, zok Rashi, shekol bnei Yisrael yotzim itoi lemilchama. V'chol ha'edo the Sanhedrin. This is a raya that you need a Sanhedrin in order to go out to Milchemes Rishus. Anytime one of the Melachim wanted to make a war, he needed three things. He needed the Melech, he needed the Mishuach Milchama, but he needed also to get a permission from the Sanhedrin. So the Gemara, no, what's the Raya? He has to be taking a Rishus from the Sanhedrin. So the Gemara, maybe the Pshat is different. It just means that the Melech and the Mishuach and the Milchama and the Sanhedrin are the one that have to ask Be'urim VehaTumim from the Kohen that has warring to Urim VehaTumim. V'dilme, it's possible the Sanhedrin to come Achmone, the Lishai L'Urim VehaTumim. The Torah is coming to say that the halacha is Einishal L'Urim VehaTumim Ela Ola Melech Ola Mishuach Milchama Ola Sanhedrin. There's no raya that you need Sanhedrin to pass Kenois to let him have a permit. You have to, one of the permits you have to get is for the Sanhedrin. But on the contrary, when you go out to Milchama, you have to go to ask Urim VehaTumim. And what the Urim VehaTumim is, you're going to go, who has to ask? Any Shalom Urim VehaTumim, Stam a person wants to come to ask a Shai Urim VehaTumim, Nishto Zazach. The Urim VehaTumim, you have to ask, who is the Urim VehaTumim? The Melech has to ask, the Mishuach Milchama has to ask, and the Sanhedrin is asking the Urim VehaTumim. So the Gemara is a zweite Reihe. So the Gemara, Elo, ki hod omar Achabar, bizo omar Avshinu Chaside, kino yotolu lemala mitosa shel David, ki v'shegir chatzois halayla ruach tzfoinis menasheves boi, והקינו מנהגת מאלו ביד דוד ואיסק בתוירה, כמו ישאימר חצויס לילה. Just you want to know the Seder Hayom of David HaMelech. Yigang Shlofim, when did he go to sleep? Is Machlekes Midrashim where he went to sleep. If he went to sleep, Batzeis HaKochovim, or Kisho Sha'asayim Achar Tzeis HaKochovim. We'll speak about it later. He used to have a Avek Zeger. There was a kinnor, was a harp on top of his bed. The Gemara state Arba Ruchis Menashes Bechol Yoim B'Chatzeis HaLayla is B'Chatzeis. The Ruach Tzveinis comes and starts mispilt fiddle on the roof. Mispilt rein, and he wakes up from the music. He used to get up, Chatzais Laila Okum, Ache Ola Amud HaShachar. From Chatzais bis Amud HaShachar, Gad Chavruse, hat gesetzt in gelernt David HaMelech the ganze Nacht. Kiven Sheola Amud HaShachar, Gai Ba'alm, was tut David HaMelech Amud HaShachar? Nicht nur zu Chachme Yisrael Etzlei. The Chachamim come every single morning. The Chachamim coming into David HaMelech by Alois HaShachar. By the Ken, more shit. The Melech is Yoshin 3 hours, 4 hours into the day. David HaMelech has a conference by Alois HaShachar. The crack of dawn. Chacham Yisrael Nichlenso. Omul Adoneinu HaMelech Amch Yisrael Tzrichim Parnosa. The erste Sache is we broke Parnosa. You need to have parnasa. What are you going to do? You're the melech. You have to worry about their financial situation. Omar lehem David lechu v'ispansus hamizeh. Omar lo en hakoymetz masbiyah sari. That's not enough. That I should give you business. You should give me business. That's not enough. Not sufficient enough for parnasa. So zokter ve'ein haboyer mismalia b'michuyos. By the way, en hakoymetz masbiyah sari. Koymetz doesn't necessarily mean as a koymetz, a claim. A koymetz can mean one of the chagovim. His name is a koymetz. And a lion, they give him to eat a chagov, it's not going to be zufrieden. And therefore, Mer says, so we know if somebody's in order to fill it up, you can't just put it back, you have to add on another offer. But kids, it's not enough parnasa what you say. Omar lohem David lechu pishtu bigdud. You need parnasa, go for milchama. War is a way to get out of all troubles. Go out for war. Miyad yoyatzim Achitophel was given a grace Eitz Geber. Venimlochin beSanhedrin. They take your shoes for the Sanhedrin. V'shoyalim beurim v'tumim. In other words, they need parnasa. They come to the house of David HaMelech Ba'aleis HaShachar. He gives them a parnasa. Go out. There's no other Eitz for war. You're supposed to do a war. So they need the Eitz Geber. Achitophel given the grace Eitz Geber. He was the father of Achinoam Magdalene. He was the father of Basheva. That's doch given a Zeide von Basheva. Von Bechut, given the Zeide von einer von der Weiber von Yeshua von David HaMelech. And he was the Eitz Geber. Achitophel was the Eitz Geber, gave the Eitzes to David. And Nimlochim b'Sanhedrin, steht doch klar, you need Sanhedrin, v'sherli b'urim v'tumim. Omar Rav Yosef Micro, how do you know that you need a yoyetz, a Sanhedrin, urim v'tumim? Steht divrei yomim, the pasuk that says all the sorim of yoyetzim of David, ve'acharei Achitophel, who is acharei Achitophel? B'nayo ben Yoyodo, lo hoyo chochom kemoisoi b'kol haderes, as steht in Chazal, ve'ev Yosar, given the Kohen Gadol, ve'sar tzova lamelech Yoyev. So you see, the Seder is first B'nayo, then Ev Yosar, then Yoyev. Achitophel is a yoyetz, u'B'nayahu zeh Sanhedrin, he was Rosh Sanhedrin, Ev Yosar l'urim v'tumim. Shekenu oimer, u'B'nayo ben Yoyoda la kreisi ve'ala pleisi. V'lo manikra shmo shel urim v'tum kreisi v'kleisi, kere shekolsim divrem shom udvorim k'tzuvim, u'fleiti shemufloim ma'aseh. B'kitzer, you need three things in order to go out to Milchama. You need a melech, you need a Sanhedrin, and you need a Urim v'Tumim. You need an Eitz Geber. The Melech uses his Eitz Geber to tachsisem milchama, to tell him Eitzes how to strategically run the war. You need Sanhedrin, and he took B'nayo ben Yoyoda, was Rosh Sanhedrin, and you need Ev Yosar HaKohen who had Urim v'Tumim. Bottom line, Urim v'Tumim are needed for war. The Gemara states in Eruvin, in Daf Samach Gimel Amud Aleph, you have over here the Gemara in reference number 8. Rabbi Lozer Omer kan amri alocha b'fnei Rab morido Yosef b'gdloso shenem v'yomer Lozer HaKohen zo yischu kasatei HaShetziv Hashem es Moishe achas azov af al gav de Omar lehu lachi avot tzivo v'yisi lo tzivo, right? Ach yifilu ochi yonesh ksiv l'fnei Lozer HaKohen yam v'lo ashkon yitztech l'Yeshua l'yo b'yur v'tum. Kommt again the Rishonim as a kasha understand was past if there's a tzivu to Moshe and Yeshua, the Yeshua should be oimed l'fnei Lozer HaKohen v'shal b'mishpat ha'urim. So what does it have to do now? We gave a oynish to Lozer, loimotzinu, the Yeshua is not going to come to ask him milchama. You need right now, you got to have business. You want to give him a punishment, give him a punishment. But how do you? Does the Yeshua is mitzuve on this? Yeshua said there's a tziva in Yeshua l'fnei Lozer HaKohen Yamud. So mishpildo mitkovet because he was meir aloch b'fnei Rabbi. Then he's not going to get a. He's never going to come to ask him a shaila. You know. The Rambam, when the Rambam brings down, take a look at the Rambam. When the Rambam brings down the halacha, the Rambam says, "Ve'im olchim l'chemes harishus l'diras hachol el al pi beis nagodol bivat shenem hakol hagodol hadover hagodol yivinu lecho." The Zal Bezach, the Rambam Hilchos Melochim, l'chemes rishus moisi esarom el pi beis shishim ve'echot. The Rambam does not mention that you need urim v'tumim l'milchama. I'm getting a shtickle involved is because here we have the first milchama Klal Yisrael gets engaged to after the Moshe Yeshua, and the first thing they're looking for is the Urim v'Tumim. So, in the Sugya Sagamora and Sanhedrin, weist ois, that there is a necessity for Urim V'Tumim. The Rambam, when the Rambam brings down, the Rambam only brings down the halacha you need a Beit Din Shnai and Aleph. The Rambam does not bring Urim V'Tumim. Kommt again the Ramban in Sefer HaMitzvahs, in the Hoisofes of Sefer HaMitzvahs, steht in Ramban like this: V'hu she'yiroi li, she'mitzvah al HaMelech al HaShefet u'mi she'am b'reshus le'yitzir le'milchama b'milchemes HaReshus, oy mitzvah liyos b'milchemes HaReshus oy mitzvah liyos shoyel be'urim v'tumim. ועל פיהם יסנאי בעניין והוא אמור יסעלו לפני אלעזר הכהן ימה ושאול במשפט האורים לפני השם על פיו יצא ועל פיו יבוא הוא וכל בני ישראל וכל העדו יצא בישוע שהוא המוישל הראשון אשר הוא פוקד על העדו לא של הרמב"ן שישאל באורים ותומים ועל פיו משפוטים יציאים ויביאים וכן בכל השבטים והמלוכים וכן אמרו בגמור הברוכס ובסנהדרין שדוד מצא ולכי ופושט ידיכם בקדוש השאלים באורים ותומים ומזה אמרו הנשאלים אלא למלך או לבייז ומי שהציבור תולי בו הוא זה מלך בני ישראל זה משוח מלחום ומי שצריך הציבור כל האלה לבייז דין מלא שנראו שהוא צבוע לדרס. Ramban asks Akash, he says, why does the Rambam mashmit the halacha that you need to Urim V'Tumim milchama? Avada, there is a halacha in every milchama, you need to go in and ask the shiur to Urim V'Tumim without the coming from the Rebbeinu to rage a war, you're not allowed to start the milchama. As if like the Ramban. Vehine, the hemshech of the Ramban, is the Ramban in the Yisofetz, the Sefer HaMitzvahs. הרב עצמי בהקדומוסי למצווה כלושן הזה, וידוע שהמלחומס וקיבוש לא יהיה במלך בצע סנהדרין גדול וכהן גודל, שנאמר ולפני אלעזר הכהן יעמוד. וזו באמס מצווה לא עצה בלבד, ויהי לדוירס. ובראשון של סנהדרין שרחוי כמה מאמור שמצאים לכם רשות בין ישיבים ממך, ואומרו כל העד סנהדרין ודילמה סנהדרין ודקומה לשאול בורים ותומים, ונשכן. ואולי יהיה חשבון רמח מצווה ססה, ובוי נספרש עד יובו מוירה צדק. The Megillah Esther says that the Ramban Svor is right. The mitzvah of Urim V'Tumim is a mitzvah on the Hegas L'Deres. The Rambam, for some reason, is mashmit. So what does it mean? If it's a mitzvah on the Hegas L'Deres, what does it mean that Yeshua ben Nun Ashkechon, Yeshua ben Nun is the king of Milchemes Mitzvah? You know, Yeshua didn't finish the job, but Yeshua ben Nun goes for 14 years, Sheva Shekibshu, Sheva Shechilku. He basically gets rid of 70% of the Oivim. He is engaged in Yalkut State, Yudches Milchames, Osa Yeshua. He made 18 Milchames. So we have a cheshbon of a year that the Loza HaKoyen was very halacha b'fnei Rabbi, so Yeshua ben Nun never asked him any shaylas. It's a chapala atzu. If there is a mitzvah sesel deis, as if it's state the sugi in brochus, as if it's state the sugi in Sanhedrin. The Rambam doesn't bring it down, but the Ramban says avad it's a mitzvah sesel deis. So first past, as Yeshua never asked Loza HaKoyen to go out to hold his 18 milchames, vos tutzach. So what do you have to say? Pashat Pshat. Look at the Gemara in Sanhedrin Daf Zayin Amud Aleph. The Gemara comes along and says, Omar Rabbi Lozo, beboyin al iskei nachleis ukitchila shel Eretz Yisrael. Matchilosa shel Eretz Yisrael 71. I matchilosa kalfi urim v'tumim v'kol Yisrael. Afkan kalfi v'urim v'tumim v'kol Yisrael. The Gemara says tchila v'Eretz Yisrael was a kalfi. As you know, Yeshua ben Nun made a kalfi. And urim v'tumim. Kommt again Teises and fragt Akasha, nicht meine Akasha, Teises Kasha. In Sanhedrin Daf Zayin. Hodom aber ich adog aber Yeshua der Ashkechon yitztach li zozel Yeshua b'mishmur v'tumim. Ma v'chluch esoretz koma. The Gzeres HaKosevu. Ela b'shar dvorim atzrichim lishel b'urim v'tumim shoyo nigel le'benivur. So Teises is one answer to all the questions. Avade, anything which is nitzrach machmas ikar adin for urim v'tumim, he used to ask urim v'tumim. V'loy ashkechon, they stand in front of him for other things. You want to use the Urim V'Tumim for general other things, but the dinim which are said beferish that needs a Urim V'Tumim for its actual mitzvah, such as Chlukas Eretz Yisrael, and now we're going to add on not only Chlukas Eretz Yisrael, but Kibush Eretz Yisrael. If the Gemara, the Sugya Sagmor in Brachas Sanhedrin state as Kibush Eretz needs Urim V'Tumim for the Etz of Kibush Milchama, so Avade, Yeshua ben Nun lo motzinu she'om adnat yivadi yozayim l'toysa says kitchila shel Yisrael was kalfi v'urim v'tumim. Bottom line, milchemes mitzvah, milchemes rishus needs urim v'tumim. That's pashtes asugis. The Ramban says it's a mitzvah says on the Hegas L'Deis. The Rambam for some reason doesn't bring it down, but the Ramban says mitzvah L'Deis. We're going to see later on what it is exactly Shitas Rambam once we get to milchemes Yisra. But Pashtes, the Sugya Sagmor, in Chelek, Amidafom, Urim V'Tumim, And you need Sanhedrin and Urim VehaTumim and a Melech. And right now we don't have a Melech, but we have a Shefet, and we need the Urim VehaTumim. And the Urim VehaTumim is a vital ingredient. So, Lifnei Elozar HaKohen Yamad V'Shal B'Mishpat Urim, this is something which is only the Oynesh on the Elozar was the other usages of Urim VehaTumim. They used to come to the Urim VehaTumim to ask a bunch of questions. As we're going to see, we're going to start learning a shtickle nach. We're going to see that this tool of Urim VehaTumim was not only to be Eitzel Milchama, but Tosfos tells Zavek HaHalacha. Anything which needs machmas ikar adin, machmas etzem hamitzvah Urim VehaTumim, Avada Yeshua used to go ask Elozar HaKohen, and therefore Avada you also asked him for Milchamas Mitzvah. That's what Motzinu is only by something which is, if you need to ask some kind of a shaila, over there Yeshua never asked. That was the Oynish. If not for the fact that Elozar was Mayalach B'fnei Rabbi, Yeshua would have used him for other question marks as do nachles, things that not needed machmas, the actual mitzvah. Balti was mechutza for him, Mayalach B'fnei Rabbi, that was his Oynish. Agav, one of the two, before we go a shtickle weiter, one of the Weltlach that Briskerov used to say over zwei Weltlach from the Nome of Rameir Simcha. He met Rameir Simcha twice, and one of the Weltlach, he came back from Krenitz, he met Rameir Simcha, he was gewaltig nicht stein. Rameir Simcha says a word. Ich habe das gehört in Bris, ist gedruckt echt im Eschachochmel, du Stückel bekitzer. Says a moyer dike word. The Gemara in Makkah says there were mafresh 3 Orim Miklot in every Yarden, and there were mafresh kenegdon 3 Orim Miklot in Eretz Yisrael. The Gemara makes the cheshbon, why do you need? Over here is only more says Begila Shlichet Leitzchim Ayat B'Shegeg. It's a whole series of Gemara in Makkah's Daftes. The Gemara says that even though Yeshua was mafresh the Orim, lo hoyu koil tois ad he was mafresh the Orim Miklot after he crossed Eretz Yisrael. The question is why not? The Gemara learns that out from a pasuk. Why you're not allowed, it's not chal, lo hoyu koil tois. More said there was a temporary Orim Mikla, was a replacement. Betzel, all those Orim which are specified in the Psukim did not work till you mafresh the 3 in Eretz Yisrael. So Mesimcha says a beautiful word. Why isn't the Orim Mikla of Ever Hayarden? Klal Yisrael sitzt 40 Jahre in Ever Hayarden. Moshe Rabbeinu is mafresh shalosh Orim Mikla. Yeshua is mafresh after they come to Eretz Yisrael 3 Orim Mikla in Eretz Yisrael. Why aren't they? Why Moshe Rabbeinu has to wait with his 3 Orim to be koilus? He says, it says by Orim Miklot, somebody's Reitzeach Bishgoga, he sits there. What is the exit strategy to get out of your Miklot? The Yoshav Bo Ad Mois HaKohen HaGodl. The Reitzeach has to sit in the ear Miklot, biz the Kohen Gadol. The Gemara says that the Moiseim Shel Kohanim Gdolim, the mothers of Kohanim Gdolim used to misapki Mayim Lezom Mosen to the Reitzchim Mishum B'Mispalo, the Kohen Gadol should die. He knows tomorrow morning the Kohen Gadol dies, he goes out of the Chayos. The exit of a Ritzeach to go out of here, otherwise he dies in your Miklot, his bones are buried in your Miklot. So Miklot bleibt dort verewigt. He says, the second Moshe Rabbeinu says, Lifnei Elozar HaKohen Yamad V'Shal B'Mishpat Urim. There's a nevuah that Elozar is not dying tomorrow in the Midbar. He's not dying. He's going to be there in Eretz Yisrael throughout the life of Yeshua Benu. Get an Einish, Yeshua, Elozar gets an Einish that Yeshua never asked him L'maisa and Dvar Reshus the way we see right now. Which means to say that we tell him the Reitzchim, you know what? Anybody who killed in Ever Hayarden, if you go into your Miklat, you're going to jail for a lifetime sentence. You're not getting out of here. You're going to jail. He says, you cannot give a punishment to a Yid to send him to your Miklot without showing him the exit strategy. So the second is in the Nevuah, Lifnei Elozar HaKohen Yamad V'Shal B'Mishpat Urim. You cannot have those Orim Miklot B'Skov is stark and Spolgavon. Use the word a couple times. Ken Mikenish Gem Mashtrof on Weisen Yenem as a Giblim Mepsa, a ray of hope to get out of. We don't have too much time, but we're holding by Erev Rosh Hashanah, and people want to say a couple of Rosh Hashanah, but I would like to speak about the Urim VehaTumim for Rosh Hashanah. The whole tefillah, the 9 brachas that we say on Rosh Hashanah, Mora says in Brochas Hana, Teisha Brochas Keneged Mi, Keneged, the 9 chorus of Chana. Chana comes in to be mispawel, to have children. She's married for 22 years, she doesn't have any children. She comes to Beis HaMikdash, Beis HaMikdash Beshiloi with her husband. By the way, they used to come 4 or 5 times a year. as they state in under Rishonim. They didn't come only in Regolim, they used to come 4 or 5 times a year. She used to come. She used to have a tzara called Pnina. She had 10 children, she has no children. And every year, Elkanah, the husband, who was the father of Shmuel Ha'Navi, Elkanah's God Lador, he used to go in with his wife and his children. He used to go to bring the korbanos. He used to bring the basar, and he used to give the meat to all the children. She's sitting on one table, Pnina, with the 10 children, and Chana is sitting there crying and crying and crying. Till one day she decided she's going to be. We spoke about it. We have a special shiur about it. What was the tefillah of Chana? Why was she nane? And I'm not repeating myself. And I'm going to say, when did the coin drop that Chana knew that she's going to be nitzal by the tefillah through coming into Eli HaKohen? And the answer was when she realized Ein Oid Milvadoi, that the husband tells her, I'm better than anybody else. She knew my man is a God Lador. She has to encounter HaKadosh Baruch Hu herself. Then she tuduch, and then the Rosh Hashanah nifkedo Chana. But look at the Pesukim. I want to show you a Goyen. I don't know if anybody knows the Goyen, but the Goyen is a Goyen Niflo, and this is my Goyen, the Matana for Rosh Hashanah. The Goyen says like this: Vatan Chana. The Pesukim say, beautiful Pesukim. We're going to read it in the Haftarah of Rosh Hashanah, one of the days. She comes into Beis Hamikdash. She starts, and the Gemara has a ganze ariches. What does she do? She starts crying. Vatan Chana. Vatoimer loy adoini isho kshasruach hanoichi v'yayin v'sheichar loy shasisi. Shmuel tells her that why are you acting up? Vayachshaveh Eli l'shikoira says. So she tells him, I want to read you the couple of psukim. והיא מורס נפש ותספר על השם ובוכי תבכי ותידו נדר אם רואי תראה ברויני עמוסכו וזכרתני ותשכס עמוסכו ונשאת לעמוסכו זרע האנושים ונסעתיו להשם כל ימי חי ומוירו ליעלו על ראשי והויו כי עיר בסו להספלל לפני השם ואלי שמע אספיו וחנו היא מדברס על ליבו רק ספסי הנורס וכוילו לא ישמע ויחשבהו אלו לשיקוירו. You think she's meshuga, she's a shikar. You think she drank before. You know what? Go home, go to sleep a little bit. What was the eitzah he was giving her? He says, you're shikar. The way you're davening right now, he sees a woman comes in, raks for say a noise, she doesn't talk, and she speaks about, the Gemara says there's a raya, one of the Gemara in Brachas, a raya that a person has to be, you have to listen to what you say, because when you see that she just whispered, there's a raya. It says, ותוי מחנו לא ידעיני, איש כשסרוח הנויכי, ויין ושייכל לא ישסיסי, ואש פורס נפל לפני השם. Look at the Lashon HaGoyen. I brought you the Goyen, מילה במילה for the Goyen. הנה בפירוש רש"י בדפוסים ישנים, היה כוסוב כזה הלושן, לא ידעיני. Now people thought Rashi says kshero, but it says chof shin reishei kesoro. והמדפיסים השמיטו את המילה הזאת. Rashi and Ksav Yoshan used to say Kesora, and Amatpisim, they were mashmi this word. She answers to Eli HaKohen. Eli HaKohen is God Lador. She tells him, you think I'm a shikar? I'm telling you Kesora. V'yesh lefarish b'zeh oifen. Listen to the Goyen's words. T'hine isa b'gmor loy adoini, loy adoin ato b'dovar hazeh. I'm sorry, you're not a master. V'loy shchina sheira alecho, v'loy ruach HaKodesh icho gabecho. This is what she tells him. Loi adoini doesn't mean to say not my master. Be adoini, loi adoini. Loi adoini ato besnishkim balabos. V'loi shchina sheiro alecho. You don't have a shchina. V'loi ruach hakodesh becho. You don't have ruach hakodesh. Zog de Goyen ve'advorim tmuim v'chi davka mi shechina sheiro olo v'yesh lo ruach hakodesh tzorich lodin lekav schus. Only somebody who has Ruach HaKodesh has to be down l'kav schus. V'im ha'kavono sheyesh lo Ruach HaKodesh v'ashchina sheiro olav im kein hoyo lo lo das hakoil. Maybe she means if you had a Ruach HaKodesh you would have known everything. Ze einoi v'chi hanevim tzrichim ladas hakoil. Harei Yeshua omar kol milchoma במחנה ואמרים מסכת שבס אומר למוישה שבחזרתם לקלקולכם בראשון אומר לו נפקד ממנו איש. They also make mistakes. They can have a Novi, can have Ruach HaKodesh, but they make mistakes. Ve'ine zog the Goyen be'emes gam al Eli Pole. האם לא יומקר יסחנה שהיא אשת אלקונה ונחשבת משבע הנביאס? The Gemara in Megillah, Yana Gemara in Daf Yudal, when he counts the Nevi'as, Chana is one of them. He knows she's a Navi. Ve'ei choshad oisha l'shikoiro. U'bememes b'medrash Shmuel Rabos Yisok the Goyen, Iso kesoro Rivko v'rochel. והכוונה שהיו גם הם הקורוס והספלו על בונים. אבל גם על הדברי המדרש כושר, לא מצרוך למושל כסור רבקו ורוכל. ויש לא ימר זאת דגוין על פי דברי הרמב"ן. בפרשת תצווה. And this is what's negate to us right here at the beginning of Sefer Shoftim. בעניין הוא ותום שכוסר שהיו שם שמס הקדושים והיו מאירים דבריהם שהיו כהן מחבס בהשמס והיו מאירים או בולטים כמו שאומר במסכת יומה. אך לצרף האויסיס או יצורך הכהן לצרף על פי רוח הקודש. כי היה יכול לצרף האויסיס באופנים שונים. כלומר, כאשר שואלו מי יעלה לנו בתחילה להילחם לקניינים. He's a going on our posuk. Okay? ויוצאו האויסיס יהודה יעלה. So the going, how did the oisis come out? Yud mean Levi. It was the Shiftei Yeshurun. It says, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and it says the name of the Shvatim, Shiftei Yeshurun. Yud mean Levi, Hey mean Yehuda, Dalet mean Dom, V'chen Kulam. V'hoisa yocholas l'tzaref ha'oisies al kavona acheres. ורק על ידי השפועת רוח הקודש יוד לצרף האויסיס כתיקונם. וזה מדרגה ממדרגת רוח הקודש למטו מהנבואה ולמיילו מבסקו שוים משתמשי בבית שני. ולכן פוסקו אורים ותומי בבית שני. So the Goyen, the Pasuk came out. What is the, we came, Vayalu b'nei Yisrael Hashem right here at the beginning of Yehuda Yala. What did he say? He didn't say the words Yehuda Yala. They started illuminating. Machlekes the Gemara, it was boltos, meiros, did it shine, did it light, did it blow up? Whatever the way the Ur Batum used to be. Yehuda Yala. I was thinking to myself, what's Yehuda die? You know, maybe Yehuda Yala, you mitzaref it, die, Ola, Yudke, Vovke. You know, Kodesh Baruch Hu is going to be Oila. You can't like blunt it, you can find blunt it. You want to take those oisias, make it jumble words like the Goyen. There was no specific seder the way the oisias. All those oisias used to light up together. They didn't light up in a row like Yehuda Yala, first Yud, then Hey. The Goyen, all those oisias were boiled. The question is, it had to be illuminating because in Yehuda there's Tzvei Mol Hey. So, you know, it had to be going on and off. Whatever it was, those bolters, it had to be in sessions. So why couldn't it be in a session that he would go Yehuda Yala first, Yud Hey, Vov Dal Hey? But the Goyen says, Lemaise, only the oisias was bolters are meiris. And in order to know how to be mitzaref, the oisias, the Ur V'tum, you need a separate Ruach HaKodesh. And the Goyen, this is the Ramban. This is all the Ramban. Vayoyse Yecholos Tzaref Oisias Kavona Acheres. V'zeu madrege mimadreges Ruach HaKodesh, says the Ramban, it's between, it's lemata min hanevuah ulemala mi baskel. By Sheni it was baskel, by Srisha there was nevuah, was lemala. V'lachem posko ur v'tumim b'bay Sheni. V'efsher, okay? שאחר שנוסע משה רבינו השמש בחוישן, היו נדויים במסוירס ממנו לגדול לכך מישראל. ולפיכך היה ביד דוד, איפה שהיה ביד אביוסו. ונראה של בד, כאשר נאמר בשמואל נער חגור אף אוהד בד. ואומר בנוי ועיר הכהן, עם 85 איש לא יישא אפד בד. ועל בישו יישא הכהן שהוא מבני הנביא ושואל ליבו ונען לפעמים. זה בקיצור תוירף דברי הרמב"ם בפרשת תצווה. In other words, not that there was a choishen, but there was an ephod bad. And the effort bad throughout generations, says the Ramban, it was shel bad. V'nireh zog the Goyen. Listen to the Goyen. The Masha Omu Chazal, she'en nish'olim ela lemelech, ulemi she'atzibur tzorich bo rak be'urim v'tumim shel Kohen Gadol. Aval be'effort bad, hoyu shoyalim kol mi sheyoda Hashemes, v'oyu Ruach HaKodesh shoyro olav. V'lochein, kasher ro Eli eschano she'medaberes al libo, ורק ספוסר נויס וכוילו לא ישמע, והוא היה מכיר ראשים מנושים צדקוניס. פקרת, עבדה. אלי, הכהן עבדה knew that she was a Navi. לכן תומה מועד על זה, והוא יחופץ מועד לדעס מה זה ועל מה זה. ושואל במשפט ובאורים ותומים שלו, he's asking his eigen הקשה, the כהן, גודל. אלי הכהן, he's wondering, he says, was tut sich das? Kommt da rein a Frau, a lady, she is a Neviah, and she's Meshuggah, which is against the Shulchan Aruch of Tefillah. V'yotzu ha'oisiyos boltim u'me'orim b'tavni zeh. Hey, chof, shin, reish. Hechsher. V'u tzirfom she'oiro'osam u'shikoiro. He, Eli HaKohen, took the word hechsher And he says, Haram HaMetzaref, with my Madreg of Ruach HaKodesh, it means Shikoiro. ולכן כוסו שום ויחשבו אילו לשיקוירו. ואומר לו כתוב ודוי עד מוסת תשתכרי נסיר ייני מעלייך. ועל זה אונסו ריחנה לא ידויני. לא ידויני אתה בעט ולרוח הקודש יקבחו. לצעף האיסס כרבוס האמיתים. You don't have the right רוח הקודש. If you would have the right רוח הקודש, you'd be know how to be מצעף כאיסס האמיתים. שצירופם הוא באמס כסורו. כלומר כאני אישו כשסרוח הקורו מספלל אז הרבונים כסורו. כי אני כבמיד לשנה. It wasn't Shikoiro, it was Kesara. He was wondering. He sees a woman comes in the Via, she was a drunk lady, and the VehaTumim is answering him. He's not answering Milchama, they're not answering. What? A lot of ask the question. It's a very good question. A lot of ask when you come to VehaTumim, what's happening in the news outside. You can ask the VehaTumim. But he asked her, he says, the Neviah walks into it's an excellent question. For separate shiur and VehaTumim. But that's what he asked. אם כן, למה דנתנו לקו לצער פאיסיוס לא יאמר שאירוסם שיקוירו ולא דנתנו לקו זכוס שאירוסם הוא קשיירו שהוא יישא הקורו. You should be done to קו זכוס. not קשיירו, כסורו שהוא יישא הקורו. במדר שסיפו יסר בירה כסורו ריב כרוכל וזהו שפירש לו אישה לא אדוני אישה כשסרוח אדויכי כסורו. not קשיירו, but כסורו. So more the kavos from the Goyen. But the oil bikola now, that when it says over here Yehuda Yale, it says over here Yehuda Yale, it's not Pashat. It didn't say Yehuda Yale. It says just those Oisias. That the Chibur of the Oisias, if you do it the proper way with Ruach HaKodesh, which is a shtickle madrega from the Nevuah, it comes out to Yehuda Yale. Oil bikola now. Milchama needs VehaTumim. As if I state in the Sugya Sagmora, as if I say in the Ramban, the Rambam is mashmi. This VehaTumim is something which you need. This, what we learned today in the pasuk, was a VehaTumim, was a ma'aser for VehaTumim, and this VehaTumim is of the Goyen. The Yehuda Yale did not really say Yehuda Yale; it just illuminated, or it was built as this oisius. You need a madrega of Ruach HaKodesh or somebody to read it properly. The question is, who is the one who read? Who is the Kohen? Who is the one over here? Was the Lozar Kohen? Lozar Kohen lives throughout, came out the whole Sefer Shoftim, and he was there to be reading the VehaTumim Ketzurosam. A good gebench to you.